What's going on, all you night stalkers? Your two favorite vampire hunters are back once again. This 31 Days of Horror. That's right, we're bringing the stakes and the crosses, and we're getting ready to do battle with an evil entity that's moving in the house next door. And he goes by the name of Jerry Dandridge. We're talking about 1985's classic vampire film, Fright
Fright Night.
Love being scared. This could be the night of your life.
One of my favorite movies to watch growing up with my older brother. We watched this movie all the time. Fright Night, classic vampire movie, and one that starred William Ragsdale and Chris Sarandon as Jerry Dandridge, the vampire that lives next door, basically. So in the beginning of the film, we have a teenage age Charley Brewster, and he's making out with his girlfriend. And all of a sudden, they hear, a car pull up next door, and it's the abandoned house that nobody's lived at for a while. And, they're having neighbors move in, basically. And the new neighbors that have moved in are doing some shady things at night. And, over the days, Charlie's recognizing some really crazy stuff, and he starts getting suspicions that his neighbor might just be one of the undead.
Early on, he's just trying to figure this out and noticing a lot of weird things about old Uncle Chris Sarandon. Maybe back then, I think he was married to Susan Sarandon, wasn't he?
I want to say so, yeah.
Yeah. But what a seductive man. But yeah, just a lot of odd things happening and really looking into it and bringing in his friend, Evil Ed, which is my favorite character in the movie, Stephen Jeffries. You're so cool, Brewster. He was just over the top. But, you're, cliche friends in high school, like hanging out in the 80s. We've seen it in so many movies, but they really had some good chemistry between William Ragsdale and Stephen Jeffries.
And then we have Roddy McDowall as a Vincent Price-like character who, has this TV show late at night, and it's all about him, going to battle against vampires and other sort of monsters and stuff. And of course, it's very campy and whatever at the time. But, Charlie watches this show religiously, so he really believes that Peter Vincent can help him and help him find out and prove that his neighbor, Jerry Dandridge, is a vampire. Some really cool scenes with Jerry coming over and turning on the charm. He comes over and introduces himself to Charlie's mom. And Charlie, Charlie's acting real weird when he comes over, like he knows the secrets, but Jerry's playing it totally straight, not like acting like, he's crazy. I'm just a regular guy here. What are you freaking out about, buddy? It's okay. But yeah, over the film, Jerry Dandridge is finally, they do all the vampire kind of tricks of the trade that Peter Vincent knows about, obviously how they don't have a reflection in the mirror and how they don't like certain things, like crosses. And if you, quote Bible verses around them and everything like that. So they have to team up eventually, Charlie and Peter Vincent, to help, take down Jerry. And Jerry's also stolen Charlie's girlfriend in the same time. Amy Peterson, played by Amanda Bierce. You guys probably remember her from the sitcom Married with Children from back in the day. She played Charlie's girlfriend in the film, and Jerry eventually seduces her and, turns her into a vampire. And, that's the thing that sets Charlie off. He has to get Peter, and he has to have Evil Ed's help to take down Jerry. And Jerry also lives with kind of like his butler, who, is also there and obviously tries to protect Jerry at all costs.
Cast in this movie is pretty stacked for the 1980s. I love Roddy McDowall, Planet of the Apes, that's what he's known for, but I loved his, character, Peter Vincent, late night host, you'd see on local cable, back in the day on Saturday nights, he'd be introducing like old school horror movies, much like Vincent Price. So it was their take on it, and vampire hunter and trying to track down the vampires that they find about in the local town, and them teaming up together between Charlie and Peter Vincent was really cool. And I like how they did that. Also, Chris Sarandon's fantastic as Jerry Dandridge. One of the better vampire performances because he plays it both ways really good, like handsome man, seductive, and then vampire, the practical effects looks really cool and how he sucks in the blood.
One thing right off the bat that I think about when I think of Fright Night is the music and the soundtrack. Totally 80s. and totally awesome. Just they have some fantastic scenes utilizing music, and it's super effective for this movie. And it's one thing that really stands out to me. There's a scene in a dance club where Jerry Dandridge is in there. He's wearing this like tight blue sweater, blue pants, dancing.
So
The
80s.
music's totally, yeah, totally 80s, and an awesome scene. Charlie gets pissed and goes get the bouncers to get Jerry and remove him out of the bar. Well, Jerry basically, snaps one of the guy's fingers, I think, and then punches the other one, and it's like an all-out brawl in the club. But it goes to show you, his vampire powers and everything. But like you mentioned, yeah, the special effects too in this movie, top notch. I loved all the vampire effects in this. The gore. We see Billy Cole. He's some sort of monster too, whether he's a vampire or what. But the special effects during that scene when he sort of like kind of melts in a way and turns to goo, it looks really awesome. Really love the special effects and the practical effects that were done in this film. Tom Holland directed this, like you mentioned, and just a fun film. Fright Night's awesome. It's one that you never get tired of. I could watch this every year and find something else that kind of I forgot the last time I watched. There's so much to like in this movie, and it's led by a terrific cast. Like you mentioned, everybody works well. It feels like everybody's cast perfectly, all the way, from Charlie all the way down to even the minor characters, the mom. Evil Ed, he has some awesome, funny lines. You mentioned the one, "Oh, you're so cool, Brewster." And some great, 80s dialogue in here. It was really well written. And, for being an 80s movie, it feels like a nice snapshot of that time period and really captures like the feel of the 80s in this movie and gives you what you want for a horror movie to watch, during October.
Hey, it came out the same year as Back to the Future. So you had like the spiky hair and the cool 80s, 1985 attire. Year I was born. It was a good year for movies and music. So this is definitely one of the better vampire movies out there. Obviously, Lost Boys will always be my favorite, but it's up there. It's damn good. It's timeless. It still holds up all these years later. Tom Holland. It's been a Tom Holland Halloween for us. 31 Days of Horror. This is the third movie we've talked about for Mr. Holland. Really great writer. He wrote the movie as well. He penned the script for Psycho 2, which we talked about, and then obviously Child's Play. But this writing and directing this film, really solid entry. Great performances, great music, great practical effects, really amazing scenes, classic scenes in this movie. Really great character development, bringing in obviously the iconic Peter Vincent, Roddy McDowell in this role is really fantastic. They paid homage to Vincent Price in old horror movies and hosts back in the day. So with that being said, I really love Fright Night, a movie I watch every year during the Halloween season. Never gets old, and it's a movie we highly recommend. So I'm going to give Fright Night from 1985 a 4 out of 5 Peter Vincent hair pieces.
I obviously love this movie. Don't have, anything more that I could add to this. It's just it's a perfect Halloween, film to watch around this time, but really any time. It's just a movie that holds up. Awesome vampire film. And now it is in 4K. I just picked it up. The picture quality is amazing. It looks crisp and clean. It still holds the grain of the film and everything. It still, feels like it did back then, but it's cleaned up. You see the sharpness, and the soundtrack and the sound from the 4K disc is really phenomenal too. Top-notch stuff. Honestly, tell that I love the film. I've loved it since I was a kid, and that is why I'm going to give 1985's Fright Night a 5 out of 5 Jerry Dandridge dance pieces. Woo.
Oh, so I want to hear from you, wild vampire enthusiasts out there. What did you like about Fright Night from 1985? What didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to click subscribe. Also, check out these wild ghouls on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV movie news and reviews.
That's right, Logan. We just finished up another movie review for this 31 Days of Horror. We've had quite the ambitious month, haven't we, man? We've been watching movies and TV shows every night, trying to keep up and shooting all these. Plus, you're editing them all. How do we do it? I don't know, but we're doing it.
I'll see my family. I'll see my family next month.
Right. They're locked down in the dungeon until November 1st.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. No kidding. But yeah, it's been a blast. I'm glad we get to do this every year, get to talk about Fright Night. I could go on and on about this movie. There's so many parts of the movie that I love. Some great kill scenes. Everything though, I just, it's a classic movie for me. I can't wait to watch the whole thing in 4K. I've only popped it in just to check the picture quality and the sound quality. It sounds and looks amazing, and there's some great special features too. And there's also a documentary that there's a documentary on the making of the film too. That's came out recently, so I'm going to look for that and watch that because I'd be interested to see how it was filmed and see all the actors behind the scenes and everything. Would be really cool.
They had the remake in 2011 that was actually really good. That I
Pretty good, yeah.
I think I
Colin
remember it
Farrell.
was like one of the first movies I reviewed because I was living in Vegas, and I think it takes place in Vegas. In that movie, it had Colin Farrell, and then you had the Anton Yelchin
Mm-hmm.
before
Yeah.
he passed away, and he was really great in that movie. It had a modern take or modern look to
Mhm.
it as well with the strip.
Wasn't it Toni Collette was the mom?
Yes, Tony Collette.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, it was actually a really solid movie as well. So if you guys haven't seen that, check it out from 2011. It's pretty good.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this 31 Days of Horror and for joining us tonight for Fright Night, our look back on this 85 vampire film. If you guys haven't seen this before, do yourselves a favor and check this movie out this Halloween season. So until the next 31 Days of Horror Cinephellas movie review, I'm Henry Hill.
And I'm Logan Brewster signing out until the next review.
Cheers.